Mrs. McCluskey is Jane Dean, and now the Farthing Wood hosts the litter tray.
The litter tray! Good morning and welcome to the jolly old BBC for a special edition of the litter tray entitled Down Memory Lane, a memory...
Stop singing!
Yeah, beautiful.
Stop singing!
What's the matter with my singing?
It sounds like someone's trodden on your tail. Disgusting. And another thing.
So rude. What?
And another thing. You look stupid in black and white. I'm changing you.
What? I'm meant to be in colour. I'm not meant to be in colour. I want to stay in black and white. This is a special programme about me.
Stop singing!
You're such a spoil sport.
I'm not a spoil sport. I merely want to check that we get some letters read out today. Is that all right?
Yes!
Yes. Dear Rats, a few years ago when I was younger, there was a brilliant cartoon about two puppies that got separated from their owners. Please, 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 can you tell me what the cartoon was called? Yours sincerely, the Lost Puppies cartoon fans who have been racking their brains to remember the name of the two dogs.
Well, I'm not keen on doggy requests, but since it's Golden Oldie Day, I'll have a go. I reckon you could be remembering Belle and Sebastian. There was definitely a disgusting, drooling dog in that.
Do you want them to catch you? Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on! They'll be here any second. Yeah, that's it.
Hold on a minute. This isn't the right programme. Everyone knows there's only one dog in Belle and Sebastian. Try again, useless.
OK, put your square eyes at this then.
Do you know where to go when you're feeling all alone?
This is ridiculous. This isn't the right one.
Well, could you try this yowler then?
That is Bonnie from Blue Peter. Why don't you just admit that you haven't got a clue and ask for some suggestions?
I think it's time for the next Wrinkly's letter, please, Philippa. Thank you.
He's so rude. He's so rude. Just because the programmes are old doesn't mean the letter writers are old, all right? Thank you. Speaking of which, do send your suggestions of which puppies it is to the great feline fixer. Now the next letter goes something like this. Dear Rats and Philippa, please, 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 could you tell me if Moondial will be shown again? Thanks a lot, from Sarah Critton.
Oh, well, I'm afraid no plans for a repeat at the moment. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm feeling generous to have a trip down memory lane on me.
Let's shake hands. Why? Well, don't you see? Whichever one of us is a ghost won't be able to. Not properly. Ghosts go through things. In.
A memory.
Don't sing. It's awful.
Well,
she gave me the creeps, that girl. I never
She liked
her.
you. And finally, stand by your beds for our Golden Oldies competition! Grange Hill fans like this one who have been eagerly awaiting the appearance of Susan Tully in the older repeats are going to love this! Not only has she already just become a... Not only has she already just become a regular part of your Sunday mornings, but park a glance at this!
Oh, dear!
I've acquired this rare 14-year-old Grange Hill annual complete with your super scary snapshot of Miss Tully for you to win! Don't thank me, ma'am, it's my job. All you have to do is change the name, tell me the name of the character that Susan played in Grange Hill Answers, and all your letters to the litter tray, moans, groans and comments too.
The Litter Tray, Children's BBC, PO Box 4567, London W12 6AA. And now you're going to have to do the next bit because this is a classic, I'm afraid.
All right then. Well, it's time to
look at that.
change.
Look at that. Oh, it's great.
This week in Short Change, getting the government to take action on the bus services you use. Getting Snap Happy testing out some of the best cameras at the keenest prices. And going undercover to expose the employers putting children's lives at risk.
Welcome to another packed edition of Short Change. Your letters keep pouring in, and thank you for that. We do want to hear from you. Last week, we investigated problems with premium rate telephone competitions. This letter from Catherine Wright highlights problems she found with another premium rate line. Catherine's a big fan of Home and Away, and having missed an episode, she phoned the premium rate information line to catch up with the news. She reckons it's a rip-off. So we rang it and we agree. It's over a minute before you even start to get the information you phoned up for. We think information lines like this take you for a pretty expensive ride. You may well be a big fan, but it shouldn't cost so much just to catch up on the latest goss. We've asked Ixtis, the watchdog for the industry, to take a closer look. Now to problems with public transport. Do you use buses? The chances are you do. To many, they're essential for getting to school or even just for getting out and about. But does paying half fares mean you're getting second-class treatment? Many of you have complaints, so we decided to look into a couple of cases. Our story starts in Edinburgh.
With over 4,669 million bus journeys made in the UK every year, the bus business is big business, and a very large proportion of their customers are under 15s. So do the bus companies treat under 15s like valued customers, or do they show them a hard time?
I've been investigating a couple of cases where the customers were very definitely not happy. 14-year-old Jamie McNeil was doing his mum a favour when he picked up a can of paint at a local DIY store. The can proved to be much more trouble than anyone expected. Jamie needed a number 15 Lothian Region Transport bus to get him home. He boarded the bus and put the usual 32p fare in the slot. But before he could reach for his ticket, a shock was in store. The driver told him he would have to get off immediately. Why? Because he was carrying paint and it might spill. The driver insisted Jamie couldn't travel and he refused to give him his money back. Jamie was left standing with a tin of paint and no money to get home. Case 2 concerns 9-year-old Kellyanne Miller and her 7-year-old brother Graham. They left school as normal one afternoon and boarded the 52 Lothian Region Transport bus that took them the 6 miles home. Not even halfway into the journey, some older children boarded the bus and started to cause trouble. Kellyanne and Graham say they weren't involved, but the driver put them off the bus along with the others. Although they were with other children for part of the way, they faced a 2-mile trek home alongside some of the city's busiest roads with no money in their pockets. They got home 2 hours later, by which time they were cold, it was already dark, and their mother was very worried.
This is the head office of Lothian Region Transport, and I'm here to put some questions to Peter Burden, Operations Manager.
First of all, in the case of Jamie, why was he thrown off the bus?
Because it's unsafe for us to carry dangerous items. In fact, the law insists that the driver should not carry items which are dangerous, hazardous, will put our passengers or the vehicle at risk.
Was it fair of the driver not to return Jamie's fare when he didn't have any money to get home?
Well, we have no facility to refund cash on the bus. I understand in this case the passenger put his money into the fare collection hopper before the driver had a chance to say, is that a can of paint? And therefore the money was in the hopper and the driver has no access to it.
To move on now to Kelly, aged 9, and Graham, aged 7. Is it not totally irresponsible to throw them off a bus with no money to get home?
Children are required to behave, again, according to the law, in the same way as any other passenger. If any passenger's behaviour is unacceptable, then the passenger can be required to leave the vehicle.
Will you be prepared to guarantee that in the future, children of Kelly and Graham's age will not be thrown off your buses?
I would think it's most unlikely, but I wouldn't like to guarantee it.
So, according to the bus company, a can of paint is so dangerous it justifies leaving Jamie stranded without money. Kelly and Graham's behaviour allegedly so bad it justified throwing them off the bus. Since bus services were privatised in the mid-80s, there seems to have been a spate of similar incidents.